Gambling time. Warp core, that is absolutely terrible. Give me a minute here. I need to fix one of the overlays here. The chat box on the last overlay was a bit broken, so I need to go back through and just rehook that up quick so that it shows the chat on screen. Just give me a minute. Let's see here. Slyness, Steven, thank you for the memberships. Zio, how you doing? Okay. Streams chat. Now, where's the outer overlay? There we go. Save. There we go. Alan, how's it going? Let's see here. Okay, everything looks fine. Audio, microphone's turned on, so that's a good sign. I had so I got the Excelsior II last night because it popped up over on Tribble, and one of the videos that I recorded to just because I was gonna do a proper review on the ship last night, but then I fell asleep. But the very first take I did going over the introduction to the video, where I talked about the source of the ship, how to get it in the game. I had my microphone muted in OBS, and I didn't realize until I was looking at the recording afterwards. It was like, son of a bitch, I can't believe I did that. Ed, I have seen that, and I have also received messages. Game Freak shot me a message just a couple minutes ago, after talking to Crying and QA. Basically, they don't know if that's working as intended or not, so the Breen Omni can be used alongside other Omnis right now, but that may not be intentional. Gambling time. So I already picked up an Excelsior on live, and I did the appropriate thing and sold it for 1.425 billion. Let's see what the Excelsior's at now. It's actually more expensive. Lovely. But I've got one over on Tribble, and let me minimize the other STO client. So I picked up this ship over on Tribble, and I also have the new winter ship over on Tribble also. Yeah, I'll take a look at the new Breen set in a little bit. So the Excelsior, it's a fun ship, okay? We all knew that going into it. And I had a lot of time to mess around with it last night, so a lot of the testing that I was going to do on stream today, I've already basically done. The ship itself is fine. It's a capable 4-4 cruiser, but that is the issue, is that it's a heavy cruiser that can't equip dual heavy cannons. So you are pretty much locked into the beam play style, and that's not for everyone. The trait on this thing is calculated broadside. So let me find that. Okay. I need to pull up an Excel spreadsheet that I set up to explain this to you all, and I need to not have my screen cap on, so give me just a minute. So okay. So basically, the trait here, calculated broadside, when you hit beam fire at will or any intelligence bridge officer ability for 15 seconds, it is going to give you a damage boost. That is a 35% beam weapon damage boost. That is Cat 1. It is slightly smaller than the boost you would get from a single tac console. You're then going to get plus 30 damage resistance rating on your side arcs, which is doubled if you have threatening stance on. And if you don't have threatening stance turned on, then it's going to lower your threat generation. Now, the issue with this is it doesn't have 100% uptime. You hit it, and it goes for 15 seconds, and then that's it. So I can demonstrate this for you. After the 15 seconds, it then has a 10-second lockout where it can't be reactivated, which is a bit of a buzzkill for it. So you can see it down here. It's got that timer running. It's got 12 seconds left, 10. But basically, what's going to happen is I can't reactivate it until 10 seconds after it's expired. So if I go and hit my override subsystem safeties, it's not been triggered. But if I go and hit, now that I've waited a couple more seconds, it pops back up because OSS re-triggered it. But to demonstrate that on like a spreadsheet here, this is each second, and this is when the trait is active and then not active. So you are going to have at most 60% uptime with the trait, and it's just not enough of a damage boost to warrant using. If it didn't have this 10-second lockout, it would be a little bit better. But even if they removed that 10-second lockout and made it so you could have this thing up all the time, it still needs to have the damage boost from it increased, I would say. With this being just for beams, like if they allowed this to be up all the time and then also made it so the damage boost was like 50, 60 cat 1, it'd be more reasonable, I would say. But this current implementation just is not good. And overall, I have to say for the trait on the Excelsior that it is absolutely not worth using. Let me check chat here. Oh boy, that's messing up. Stop YouTube. They sell me an Excelsior for 1 credit. Terrible. They really want you to overload at will on the ship. Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. Chips. Yeah. Alternative. The trait basically just isn't worth using at all. The trait is something off the Excelsior that can be completely ignored in its current state. How good is the console? I'll get to that in a minute, but I still am not really sure how to fully feel about the console, to be honest. And I have quite a bit of testing with it from last night, and I don't know how to feel about it. Surprise, surprise, another worthless trait. How you feeling, Kales? Mystic, how you doing? Better than nothing, they'll eat it up. Yeah. Well, it's just for me when, if they're going to put the ship in a lockbox, okay, but it best have things on it that make it worthy, that make it worthy of spending the large sum of resources to get it. Because, if you're gambling for a lockbox ship, you could be dumping a few $100 into the game. And I don't think this trait's worth a few $100. I wouldn't run this trait if it was on a $30 C-store ship, Like, the trait in its current implementation just isn't good. So let's take a look at the console now. And the console is the experimental power redirection. This has passives on it for 19.9% increased energy damage, plus 13.3 Starship weapon amplification. Now, 13.3 Starship weapon amplification is very, very small. For reference, every point of weapon amplification is 0.4 crit severity, which means that this thing is like 5.3% crit severity. So that's a very, very small passive. It seems foolish for Cryptic/Gearbox to provide a lockbox ship that is worse than the Winter Event free ship. Yeah. They're basically like, it's selling the skin. And realistically, this is not a bad ship. It's just a bad value. Because the Legendary D7 is right in the C-store in the Legendary Klingon Captain Bundle. Yes, it's expensive. $78 during a sale is really absurdly expensive. But at the end of the day, when you consider how much a ship like this can cost to get for one character, that $78 on the legendary D7 is on average going to be cheaper than what it takes for you to get one of these Excelsior 2s for a single character on your account. So, was really hyped since my build is already fall anyway and assumed that loot box. Yes. Yeah, so that's another thing too. The ship is not at all customizable with the other Excelsiors. In fact, I might have that part of the review up here. I did a bit getting ready to do a review yesterday. When it comes to ship customization, it's usually something that I really don't care about. I don't play the game much for the space Barbie stuff like a lot of people do. I care more about how a ship performs, the stats of its accessories and things like that. But I do think it's very important in the case of this ship to note some of the limitations it has with regards to its customization capabilities. So, Endeavor Gaming over on Twitter had asked shortly after the blog came out if it was going to be kit bashable with the previous versions. And Thomas Marone responded that unfortunately, the Excelsior 2 is too big to be kit bashed with the other Excelsior versions. So if I go over and customize my ship here, the Excelsior 2, you're going to notice that the only option is the Excelsior 2 skin. Now, when I go and hit advanced, there is no other option here. You cannot use the new Excelsior 2 skin on any of your existing Excelsiors, and you cannot use any of the prior Excelsior skins on this new Excelsior 2. So if you were looking to acquire the Excelsior 2 with the intention of kit bashing it with something like the skins you got from the legendary Excelsior, that is not doable. So just something very important to keep in mind when it comes to customization. Yeah, you get the point there. So that was from the video that I recorded last night, or part of the video. So you see the customization issues that this ship has. If I go back and look at the thingy, it's nothing. There's no customization with the other Excelsiors. I checked on the legendary Excelsior that I also had, and I could not use any of the new Excelsior 2 stuff. So that is definitely a big limitation, and something to keep in mind, when you get this ship. And yes, the mic drop was because I forgot to go and change my audio setting for desktop audio. I've got it set up to be a bit lower than my actual audio. Sovereign is a good design. So, Jasprit, I managed to pick up 65 keys for $15. Terrible. So would you say still worth trading the keys and getting it instead of getting the legendary D7 on sale? If you have a way to get it for $15, then hell yeah. Like if you could find someone to trade that much, that would be good. But I think that this ship is going to be a fair bit more expensive right now. 65 keys isn't going to be enough because 65 keys is 12 mil times 65. That's 780 mil. That's only like half the price of the ship on the exchange currently. Missed the maximized Spencerception. Terrible. So, regarding the console, you're on Xbox. Well, this ship is not available yet on Xbox either, so do keep that in mind. Cheops, yeah, that'd be nice. If they included the specific numbers on the tooltips, that'd be great. That they updated the Infinity box with the CrossFit? Yes, absolutely. That is completely true. The Infinity Lock box has been updated. All of the other, all of the stuff from the Far From Home lockbox is now in Infinity. There's no need to open any more Far From Home lockboxes. Act, I have not received any response from Cryptic on anything in the past week. Getting a bit chilly in here. Crack the window open because this room just gets so warm, but right now it is still cold. The computers haven't started really getting warm yet. Okay. So let's go back to the console here. The console is experimental power redirection. I already went over the passives, and the clicking on it lasts for 15 seconds, and it will give you a scaling damage boost that is Cat 1 for your energy weapons. That will scale up based on your non-weapon power. So all your power in shields, engines, and aux. It will also swap your beam arrays on your ship between Beam Overload 3 and Fire at Will 3. And then you're going to have some extra phasers fire out of your ship while this console is active that are the auxiliary phaser beam arrays Overload at Will 3. So these are doing a combination of beam overload and fire at will, and they will deal 4 attacks per second, but that can be scaled up as you get kills all the way up to 14. Now, when I was testing this, getting the console to scale up based on kills is very difficult. And in the test that I did, I could basically never get it up to the 14 kills. Like the issue is that the kills have to happen during the activation of that console, and with it only being up for 15 seconds, it simply isn't enough time. But let's go take a look at the console in the test map. So what's the conclusion on the console? So my conclusion on the console is that it's going to be extremely niche. It is very fun to use. Like the console clicky is amazing to use, actually. Let me show you how visually immersive this thing can be. Yes, if you have anything to boost power levels, it will scale up. Like, I think Talor was over on the Builds Discord talking about how the scaling looked based on a video that I'd put up. And it looks like the scaling on it should do pretty well. Like you can get it over 100% Cat 1 for that brief duration. Okay, this thing's taken forever to load. Thankfully, I have a video of me testing this console. So let's pop that up because the turbo test map's going slow. Now, all of these beams you see firing out of my ship, these are from the console. Notice none of my actual beams are firing. Yeah, so it does visually look very good. I'll be the first to admit that. You know, normally I don't really care much about the visual stuff, but in this case, it looks really damn good. So if I go right in between these targets here, you know, I could do a live demonstration of that. Let me start. Does it fire based on the beam array you have equipped? No, it is completely separate. So I'm going to fire off like my surgical strikes here. I just started my combat log. Let me get SCM open. Okay. So I'm going to cloak. This ship does have a cloak, but it's a standard cloak. So the moment you go into red alert, you're screwed. We're gonna hit emergency powered weapons. You see that it's separate from the beams my ship has. The game is really loud there, for me at least. But you can see in that demonstration that it is completely separate from the beams your ship has. So whatever you have slotted, it's completely separate. The Excelsior II has 0 kit bash options, Beakwood. 0. It has absolutely 0 customizability. Yes, Edward, it's always an orange phaser beam. Yeah. Cons, yeah, battle pass. You know, I would have to sit down to think of how to exactly implement it and stow like what types of bonuses to give, but yeah. What if you run it on a KDF ship? It doesn't matter what ship you run it on, Edward. It's always going to do alternating phaser beams. We can go and take a look at that though. I've got the legendary D7 on this character, and I can just slot this and go and hit it real quick. So let me grab the console. That is, I've already forgotten the name of it. Experimental power redirection. We're going to take that in, and you're going to see that it is still going to be the orange phasers. So give me a second. General Spinobi, I think so I've been talking to Game Freaks, and he had some good points about this. Basically, the console is most likely going to be niche for Cannon Scattervol users, especially those in ISA, because the clicky on the console gives you a very large Cat 1 damage boost, scaling up with your power levels, and it lasts for 15 seconds, but if you look at the Cannon Scattervolley ISA runs, those runs are usually, you know, under 15, 20 seconds. So, in that environment, you know, it's probably going to be pretty good. I'll take a look at that in a moment. So I had some mixed results with that last night, but let me hit the console here. So I'm on a Klingon ship. Let's see if it changes colors. What the hell is that? That was interesting. The head is the focusing point? Yeah. Death Star D7? Yeah. Fired like a super laser? I think with that activation there, I probably just sold Cryptic a few of these Excelsiors. Okay, so before I go further, if anyone wants to go and test the Excelsior II over on Tribble, and a reminder, I'm talking about Tribble, so that is the PC exclusive test server. If you would like to try out the Excelsior, I will be sending a few out on Tribble over the next little bit. So if you want one, I need you to drop your @ handle in chat, and I will mail you one on the Tribble test server. So if you're wanting to test out the Excelsior, I can get you a copy over here, but I don't have a ton of ship boxes on me, so I can't do that for everyone. Yeah, that looked very cool. Absolutely. Laura, thank you for the sub. did the math on the clicky. Yeah, I saw you put some stuff in there, and yeah, I do think that the clicky, the cat one from the clicky is going to make it interesting. Okay, let me swap over to SOB, and we'll start sending out some of these Excelsiors. So how's the influence on your own firing modes? Let me check that quick. So, Gauge Street, I'll get you one here in a minute. The console from this thing doesn't always do like a ton of damage in some of the tests, but you have to keep in mind that it's also giving you a damage boost. Like when I used it on the Excelsior, when I was firing my surgical strikes there in that short little test a couple minutes back, it did 1.2 million damage from its activation. Yeah, it should be getting buffed by phaser stuff from what I remember. Stargate, how's it going? So you see, I had some mixed results. In some of the tests I was doing last night, it did not overwrite my surgical strikes, and in others it did. So it was really, really random. Okay, we're gonna grab some of these Excelsiors. Want some inventory space. Excelsior. Oh, yeah, I saw that. The Lord loves the Excelsior, but it is an expensive Excelsior for sure. Linus, how you doing? Again, if anyone wants to test out one of these new Excelsiors over on Tribble, I have a couple copies that I can send out, so just drop your @handle in here and I can send you one on the Tribble test server. Is the upgraded gear personal ground trade any good? Honestly, I don't remember. And once to lure, yeah. I did some testing last night, and the trait is somewhat disappointing. And the console, like I do actually think the console is going to have some use cases, but it's a situation of like for a lot of people is this really going to be worth spending a ton of EC on? Um, and I think that's going to be the issue that a lot of people have with it. Honestly, I feel like that's a trait that I ran for a little bit, and I don't remember if I still run it on my ground stuff. Andrew, okay. What is the best thing about this Excelsior? Definitely the console. The console's actually like it's really fun to use. Let me see. Am I running a torp on the SS Excelsior build? Yes, currently I am. Um, and when I was flying it last night, I was realizing like it's been a while since I ran a 4-4 cruiser, and wow, my piloting was bad. Zio, that's something you hit in your launcher. That's not necessarily Steam. That is because Steam should be opening up your launcher. You've got like the fast launch setting set up, maybe. I don't remember how to like get out of that if you do have that enabled. Gauss does not really play so much anymore. Stu I mean, Sue is still doing some stuff. He put out a video today, I believe, right? So, um, I don't, I think he's, when I last talked to him, you know, he's been pretty busy IRL. So that's just been eating into his time. Xander, yeah. Well, did Triz stream last night? Triz has had COVID, so he's been like out for the last week.
It's your Comet cocktails. 4.7%
So when I was trying out the Excelsior II, I was doing just a full like advanced phaser beam setup because this character doesn't really have a ton of stuff for phasers, so I just used what I had. So I did a 4-4, like really classic setup, no Omni beams, because like I said, that's just what I had on this character. So a bunch of advanced phaser beams, the Terran beam, and then the dark matter. And to be honest, this is the type of build that I would expect the people getting this ship to pretty much be like aiming towards. Yeah, Triz is very committed to the grind. Dustin, thank you for the sub. Let's go into an Argala and let me just show you guys how the ship does in there. My flying is going to be absolutely garbage, so don't judge me. It's in the name. I'm a casual player. I'd argue Triz has always been sick. What would my optimal phaser setup be? Probably, you know, I'd probably start to mess around with that new cold Omni that came out, because there's pictures people are posting over in Discord where they've got like 4 Omnis on their ship. So I think I saw someone posting in general like a picture where they had all of they had like 4 Omnis on their ship. So yeah, there's a set Omni there, a normal like crafted or lockbox Omni, the kinetic cutting beam, and then the new Breen Omni. Now we don't know if this is working as intended or not, but currently this would allow you to have 4 Omnis on your ship basically. So I'd probably do something like this, then the Terran beam, you know, and then maybe like some sensor linked ones. So deep and dark, terrible. Mike, I don't know if that. I don't know what the impact is of making that specific core epic. The gold Omni, yeah. MB, how's it do? How's it going, man? Yeah, I'll be taking a look at it here in a little bit. Alternative. No, MB, you cannot. Yeah, you could even do a dual beam bank setup. So you could do, like, I guess another way to look at it, you could do Terran, Wide Arc, then another dual beam bank, and then you know, I imagine most of you would probably go for the new, or like the dark matter torpedo. Wait, was that in the patch notes? Did they enable the ability to contribute rare and very rare DOS to a fleet today? Are people about to donate 27s to their fleet? No way, dude. People are gonna get screwed over so hard with this. They dropped this. Was this in the patch notes? Did I miss this? I can't believe they just dropped that in today. They probably announced it. I haven't looked at the patch notes close enough. I'm going to do Control F and I'm going to search for fleet. There's nothing in here about this. They stealth dropped in that update to the fleet where you can contribute very rare DOFs, and then they didn't mention it. What? So I can contribute some really bad DOF. Let's say, let's find a really bad DOF here. Yeah, this dude looks pretty rough. Contribute. And they enabled it for is it just the fleet that it, or it's just the starbase that it's enabled for? This is going to screw someone over, is what this is going to do. Someone's going to go in and contribute like a really expensive DOF, and they're going to rage quit about it. I can't believe they dropped that in without even putting it in the patch notes. Someone's going to get burnt on that. Hold on a second. So what happened is Cryptic put in the update where you can contribute very rare DOFs to your fleet starbase. So like when you go and donate to a fleet project on the starbase, it pops up this new window that will allow you to put in like a very rare DOF. Now, the issue with this is people are not going to realize that this has been added. They're going to go and dump their stuff in, and then they're going to end up, using a DOF that is, really, really valuable. So you're going to probably see some people complaining about having dumped in a really expensive DOF at some point in the near future. Like, here we go. I can contribute those 3 DOFs. There we go. Yeah, Michael, we're not sure if that is working as intended or not. Let me see. Game Freaks. Yeah, Game Freaks asked crying, but there's no response yet. And I think they may have introduced that today. Let's take a look. No, they didn't. So over on console, they introduced a way where you could like lock your DOS. You have to right click on them. I can't even right click. There we go. So I have to right click on every DOF that I want to protect. Is there any way? No, you're limited to 1 dark matter quantum torpedo. Can you contribute to lithium instead of DOFs? Let's check that here. How does it work through the Armada? Yeah, you can use the... That's really nice too, actually. You can use dilithium instead of DOFs. How much... I don't want to actually use my dilithium here, but if I use like 300... But it won't let me hit contribute. The filter doesn't work either. So this filter here, when I set it to not show very rare DOFs, it still shows very rare. Maybe because of the fleet. That fleet should let me. Let me swap over to that character because I want to test this real quick. Would they announce, Martin? So tonight's 10 Forward stream is going to be interviewing someone who did some voice acting for the game and stuff like that. Okay, we're going to test this. I think I'm on the right character. Fleet deal vouchers, 16K. Now, even on the character that's in this fleet, you can't use... This doesn't let you use fleet dilithium vouchers right now. Because it's only letting me go up to that. So let me see what happens if I go and hit it off here. Let's do... There we go. That dude's worthless. Now, if I add in some dilithium on top of that, it should take the project to 48 out of 60. And it did. So in order to contribute dilithium to the project, you have to contribute at least 1 DOF to it. And it doesn't... So like when I hit this too, it won't let me hit or use the dilithium that I have instead, or like it won't let me... It won't scale the slider off of my fleet dilithium voucher. It's scaling it off of my actual refined lithium. So I can't go in and contribute all of the fleet deal that I have there. But it does actually consume the fleet voucher when I go to contribute. But the filter does not work at all. Yeah, let's go do the winter event quick. I know I've got lots of things to take a look at here. Let's just go get the race done for today, because that way, once that's done, I can go back to focusing on the other stuff. So render scale 0.7. The game is... I don't run the game at render scale 1 while I'm doing the streams, just because it lags out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to talk to Q. To me, the easiest winter activity is the race. Now, I usually use my mouse to like control it. I wonder if there's a way for me to like demonstrate like, or like show my mouse while I'm doing this to you guys. See. Too much lag? Is it laggy? I don't think it's too laggy. I want to show background removal off. Like when I'm... Can I get this into a position where it doesn't fall? Okay, this is a terrible angle. But usually when I go through and do the ice race, I just, I pick it up, fastest game on ice, and then I'll use the left and right mouse buttons on my mouse to like move my character. So I'm not using my keyboard. My keyboard is over here, my hand's off of it. What you see on the screen is me just moving by holding down right click and left click on my mouse. So I gotta wait for this person. And you can completely do the ice race with just your mouse here. Like, this is a bit slower. Like, you could do the rolls on your keyboard to make it a little bit faster, but I just use my mouse to go through and move my character. And now I'm moving quite slow, but I'm still like, you know, beating out the thing that's racing me. Like, and if you're someone that has issues with the race, like just doing what I'm doing here is like really simple. It's slower. There are faster ways to certainly do this. Like, I could go through and turn the cat on like Admiral X just sent me, but just to demonstrate, like, you don't have to use your keyboard at all here. You just use your mouse and hold down right click and left click at the same time, and your character will move in the direction that you're pointing. So I just hold down my mouse and look in the direction I want to move, and I will move in that direction. I'll catch up on chat here in a sec. Let me finish this. Like, this is usually all I do for the race. You know, and usually I'll move a little bit faster, but this is just a really slow approach to demonstrate this to you guys. Like, my hand never touched the keyboard. All I did was use right click, left click, and I move my mouse in the direction I want to go. It's a very casual and meta race, yeah. Okay. My room's a mess for that. I don't know. Like, that probably wasn't the best demonstration ever, but like, you don't have to like use your keyboard even like I showed there. Like, that was really slow, and it may take you a few times to get used to it, but right click, left click, you move in the direction that you're looking. Same for your ship. You know that this is true in both uh, ground and space. So event wise, there be the first day of the event. I could buy it out for 950 Lobi, but I'm not going to do that, of course. Oh, camera's way too high. No, the NPC that you're racing just randomly spawns in when you go in. Let me catch up on chat here because I am way behind. Ryan, the Excelsior II itself is it's an okay ship. The trait off of it is not worth using. It's just not good enough. It's got 60% uptime. It's got a really long lockout on it. The console on it is really fun though. It's still maybe just a smidge too early to say whether or not that's going to be like a must slot console. It probably won't be, but it is really fun to use. Um, Cat works for ratio. Replicator hologram DOF works to unlock the Dill fleet buyout. Yeah, indeed. The race does not have to look pretty at all. You just have to be fast. Yeah, indeed. I'm just trying to demonstrate, you know, that the race the race you can do you can take it very slow and still complete it. Like, It doesn't matter how fast you are, as long as just so long as you're ahead of that NPC. Okay, I need to buy some of the winter crap. And I think I've got all my winter crap on another character, so let me grab that quick. Yeah, I was thinking that, Talor. I was able to get it up around 90% on my attack using like OSS alongside it. And I also was trying like using the red matter capacitor, and I was getting some good results out of that. But definitely an engineer would have a lot more success with the Excelsior console if they timed their EPS power transfer with it. Okay, my inventory is full. Terrible. Anything to boost power should, yeah. And any like beam damage boost should also boost it from what I was seeing last night. But I did not test specifically with like best diplomat. Martin, sounds good, man. And today is also going to be the start of another giveaway that I am going to be doing on Discord. So let me go through and get that set up real quick. Wow, there's a lot of crap in there. Okay, so let's just hide the existing giveaways channel, because I don't feel like clearing that right now. And we'll rename it giveaway. Giveaways old. Nobody can see it now. Let's create a new channel called giveaways. This is called me being lazy and not wanting to clear out a channel with a bunch of chat messages right now. Actions. Okay. /G create. Not on this specific Discord, no, and I don't particularly feel like going through and dealing with it right now. 24 days, number of winners 1, AC. Go see if you guys can hit that. This one, so I just ran a bunch of giveaways over on the Builds Discord, and there will be some smaller giveaways over there throughout the month and all that. But this next giveaway, the one for the next big one here, is going to be an Infinity T6 ship of your choice, courtesy of Martin. And if you want to enter it, you need to go onto my personal Discord and go to the giveaways channel in there and enter by hitting this little blue party icon right under the giveaway post. Just announced you as the winner already. I think Eric, you can also go through and transwarp there directly, I think, through the UI. So you don't have to go to like ESD, but yeah, as soon as you leave there, you're gonna get kicked out. Captain map. Twice to double your odds. Yeah, to lore. So when I was testing the Excelsior II, the specific setup that I was using actually had a 19 on and a 24. A 19 and a 24. So I did have some of the plus power miracle worker stuff going on there from these two doffs. Did the wrong race the first time? Gotcha. What is in the background like lighting this up? Blame Amazon. It's all their fault. It's not mine. I just have the only micro USB charger in the house right now. Since this is a cold Omni, does this mean we might get another Breen arc? No. Bezos, yeah. Yeah, so my mom is still using one of the older fire tablets. I picked up one of the newer, smaller ones that charges with USB-C. So I returned my niece's Kindle because she wasn't using it. And I'm probably just going to upgrade the rest of them in the house to these newer ones that have the USB-C charger, because those old ones with the micro USB charger, I hate that charger. Yeah, I gotcha. Gotcha, Eric. Yeah, that's always a pain. Wizard Girly, I know gambling has to happen. And I could gamble. I could. But gambling can be painful sometimes. They're a little bit faster, Steven, but really it's the USB-C charger. Now, you should know too, if you do pick up the new ones, they do have like a trade-in thing, so you can. And I think it's only the 7-inch that's like a new model. Yes, warp core, that's exactly it. That's painful, and I'd rather not do that on live. You know what? Before I do the winter stuff, I know I'm going back and forth, but I was going to show you guys the Excelsior II and Argala earlier, and I completely forgot, so let's go do that quick. We're going to take the Excelsior II into Argala, and I'm just going to show you guys the ship in action. Yeah. Yeah, Warp Core, that was on live. The 250 was on live with keys from Martin. Okay, Argala, here we go. Oh boy, I gotta turn the game's render scale down. Render scale 0.001. I had two STOs open. Oh, 20 FPS. Spencerception right here. Like, this ship handles quite well, you know, for being a cruiser. Like, it handles fairly well, but
You have entered. Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their saws might come out of hiding.
Is Shell here? I want to just kill him with what I'm doing right now.
Down their numbers.
We will not go quietly.
You will stand down. Surrender to the Benton Guard. Sensors are picking up small habitations in some of the asteroids, possibly consistent with Volpho's temporary hideouts.
We do what we want, where we want.
Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency. We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for assistance.
I'm going to use the console again at the final boss scene here.
With me.
Shell, how do you feel about my piloting?
For a pacification party,
I mean, it was a fast Argala. That was on Elite. Like it got through stuff fairly well, but
thank you for your
you know, it's a
assistance.
beam build. Like
We have the suspect in custody now.
my issue when I fly like this, where I just, you know, when I'm doing beam builds, I sort of am still used to the some of the older play styles of just, you know, like doing like figure eights around stuff, which is terrible. But I wish I had a wide angle torpedo on this. Terrible, Chow. Yeah, I actually did some Argalas last night on some of the recordings I was doing to like get ready for the review. And I was like, if Chell sees any of this, he's going to have an aneurysm. Like I know any like Deeps player watching me fly around, going in circles around targets with beam rays, is sitting there looking up toasters on Amazon. Terrible kills. You know, Cables. Look at the picture two above that. God damn it. But yeah, the Excelsior II performs, you know, decently well. Um, for all of you that like beam arrays and like the beam play style, you know, I think it's a solid ship. Um, it also the console on it can be interesting, but so in this case, the console did somewhat override some of my shots out, but only one. Hmm. So it looks like, you know, and this is sort of what I was seeing is unless my surgical strikes misfires, um, I don't think that it's actually overriding the surgical strikes while the console's active. So I don't think I'm actually getting, you know, like fire at will or the beam overload while surgical strikes is active. Can I show a quick close-up 360 of the ship? Sure. And let me up the render scale just a little bit so that's a little bit better for y'all. Okay, immediately that was a terrible idea. We're gonna live with the 0.7 render scale. So what I first thought when I saw this ship is it looked like a stretched out Excelsior. It's still really bad. What the hell? Saw Did that solve it? Nope.
Get your Comet cocktails. 4.7% discount for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah, you're getting the damage boost from the console. What I ask Santa for Christmas? A Lian Lee V3000 Plus. That's what I'd like, but that one ain't happening. Okay, I'm gonna go above Drozana and we're gonna take a look at the size of the ship. If you're on Tribble and you'd like to see it compared to some other ships, head over to Drozana and we can like compare it size wise. You can fly up right next to it, and yeah, indeed, Stargate. You want the log file? Yeah, give me a second. So, save combat. Uh, we just talked like a day ago, and you are really far down my list already. Like a page down. Go. I have not tested the Breen set yet. No, it's been a lot of stuff today that they've added. I haven't gotten around to everything yet. Okay, I'm sitting right above Drozana if anyone wants to bring over like another Excelsior or something. But really, this is like a stretched out Excelsior. When I was looking at this, I was thinking, you know, it sort of reminds me of where the hell's the sun in this? Oh, it's up there. So I can't get enough lighting under the ship. How much DPS does the cold Omni have? It has substantially lower than anything else, from what I understand. Yeah, let's head over to Deep Space Nine. The lighting over there is a little bit better. So if you're over here and want to see the size comparison, if someone has like the other Excelsior and can compare it size wise, bring it over to Deep Space Nine. Oh, it was just normal phasers, like normal pure fed phasers. Yeah, like the TNG era. Yeah. So the cold stuff isn't boosted by a ton of things so far, and there's also a few issues with the set from what I understand. Okay. Currently it does not ace, but it looks like that might be a bug. We're still waiting, like, from what I understand, Game Freaks was talking to Crying about it earlier, and not even their QA knows if that's working as intended or not. But currently it is not taking that set slot, and if you use it alongside the kinetic cutting beam, the like a normal set Omni and then a non-set Omni, it's currently stacking. No release that isn't broken. Absolutely. Gotcha. Thank you, Jay. So the reason that the Excelsior II cannot be kit bashed with the existing Excelsior is because apparently this one is too long. It's not even that much larger. What the, like the nacelles are longer. That's it. Like what the Okay, the part under the ship's larger. The part under the ship's larger. I think Spud, that their internal QA, I think is just really, really not good. Or like not their QA, their internal communication. Their communication between teams isn't that great. Yeah, the attachment points could have worked fine. Like, this isn't. Okay, I see it under the ship. Like, the under part of the ship is going up to where, like, the saucer ends on that Excelsior. It's definitely, it's like a mix between an Excelsior and a Sovereign class. Like, they definitely have a QA team, but I don't know if it's that they're not testing things right, or if it's just that the communication inside the company just absolutely sucks that much. Because remember, Kale told us, you know, he wasn't even aware of the nerfs until he got the patch notes. Yeah, doesn't surprise me at all. I think a lot of the issues that STO has are more of just an issue company wise with Cryptic. So there be the Excelsior compared to the other Excelsiors, and there's a Sovereign. So it really is like the Excelsior and the Sovereign were mixed together, and the Excelsior II is what got spat out. That's exactly what this is. It's a mix between the Sovereign and the Excelsior. Visually, let's look under the ship. Like, you see a lot of design elements taken from the other Excelsiors, you know, with that like line right under the saucer there. Um and the way the nacelles are connected to the ship, but man, it sucks you can't use the classic Excelsior nacelles with this thing. Delora, I know you were saying something there. Let me scroll back up. Um we should try the Excelsior II console on a swarmy map with lots of smaller ships. It gets really impressive. Yeah, that's a good idea actually. Let's what's a like a really like a swarmy map that isn't. You know what? It'd be even better for that. Like I know we have a few people here, but I'm just gonna go in and do this one on my own, just to demonstrate the console. I'm gonna go and do the first part of home. Do I have that mission here? But yeah, so it really is like the Excelsior and Sovereign mixed together. Yeah, pulse phasers would go well with it. Absolutely. Have I tested the console yet? Yes. The console is really fun, honestly. Opening part of home, Swarm Elite. I don't. The issue with Swarm Elite is I don't want to get locked into a 15-minute queue. Nah, the even that wouldn't be swarmy enough, chill. I'm gonna go to the first part of home. Thank you to everyone that stopped by with an Excelsior, especially the older ones, to get that comparison. Um, it really, it really is a shame that there's no way to like mix the parts there. But I'm gonna go take this into the first part of home, and we are going to see how the console does. HSC, terrible, chill. Now we wait. Yeah, and what sucks about the Obina is, Ed, that's also going to be a lockbox ship. I mean, look, they put the California and the Parliament both in the Infinity lockbox, and they're virtually the same ship,
I arrived here ahead
like
of you.
stat was.
I'm afraid. Then why are perhaps there's
Enough.
agreed?
We may be needing your solution to this problem soon.
Here's the console.
Yes, as yours failed. Attacking fashion. And
Some might argue it succeeded. Worse yet.
Yeah, the damage from it there was a bit lacking, wasn't it? Wasn't like fully boosted up for sure, but it did 800k damage. It's great space, Barbie, absolutely. The damage is definitely a bit mediocre there. The damage was a bit mediocre, but what's important is to keep in mind that you're also getting a damage boost while it's active. So even if the console isn't doing a ton of damage, like I still think it's doing about average for a universal console on a non-exotic build. And like I've been seeing on average somewhere around 1 to 1.2 million damage from it. But it's also got that damage boost on it that is going to be boosting up the rest of your build. I know that there are consoles significantly worse than this shell. Oh god. 2k DPS for a console is too much, honestly, Yeah. So it's a really fun console. It's a really fun console that can be used on any ship, but is it worth 1 point something billion? Because that is literally the only part of this ship that for a lot of people is going to be, worth it, because the trade on this ship is not good. And the ship itself is just an above average 4-4 cruiser. Like there's plenty of other 4-4 cruisers out there that you can do a very similar build on. Or you could get the legendary D7 and have a 5-3 that is just all around going to be a better ship. So I'll go in there again, and I'll put it to normal so we can watch the console hopefully kill things.
I arrived here ahead of you.
We may be needing your solution to this problem soon.
Yes, since yours failed. Attacking fashion.
There's the console again.
Some might argue
This is with it really boosted up. So as you get kills with the console while it's active, it will aggressively scale up the amount of shots that it's doing per second, which will significantly boost the performance of the console for the rest of the duration it's active. So, like in that case, it did quite a few more shots than it traditionally would. For laser pointer console, yeah. So the beams that fire out from the console, they're going to be fixed as your like normal phaser color beams, and they are going to be doing like overload at will 3, so it's combo, but only those beams get that. The actual like the rest of the beams on your ship are going to, if you don't have a firing mode already active, they're going to alternate between beam overload 3 and fire at will 3. For surgical strikes, if I'm using this with surgical strikes, it didn't overwrite surgical strikes unless there was downtime between surgical strikes. Yeah, exactly, Talor. Um, it really it doesn't last long enough. That's the biggest issue, and I don't know how long to say it should last to without it being, you know, it. If it lasted 30 seconds, I think it would be like an amazing console. But at 30 seconds, it might be a bit overpowered. Um, I don't know what to say for it. But 15 seconds is most certainly not enough. Yeah, but so Game Freaks is like you use your weapons to get the kills also. But the issue with that is, you know, what scenario are you in where you're going to be getting 10 kills, you know, in 15 seconds? I don't know. Like it's niche. It isn't long enough, and that's going to be the negative that I go on about when I do the review. It's the console just doesn't last long enough. Can you use the console with cannon scatter volley? Yes, absolutely. You could do that, but then again, too, the issue that I have with the console is it doesn't keep track of how many kills that you have while the console is not active. Like if it looked at how many kills you had total in the map so far and based it off of that, that would also make it better. But the thing is right now it's per activation. It's only counting the kills that you get during that activation of the console. Phaser point defense system. I don't know if I have that on this character, to be honest with you. I need to head back to DS9. Yeah. It should be available for Dilithium. On my main account, I just have the C-Store ship purchased, but on Tribble, I don't have access to any C-Store purchases. Yeah, as is the opening of ISA with CSV, is everything dies within one firing cycle if your build's properly boosted. Yeah, let's compare the two. I'll go grab the console. I should be able to get it here. Nick, how's it going, man? How goes the vacation to the part of Australia that looks like the Pacific Northwest? Matthew, the console performs okay, but it doesn't last long enough is the big issue. But it does give a pretty large damage boost for energy weapons while it's up. Okay. And I'm gonna have to clear out a ship in order to even get that other ship, so acquire yes, the crossfield refit is in the Infinity Lockbox. They did go through and add that in there today. Got to clear out inventory now. Steven, I do not remember. It's been so long since I did any of those DOF missions. There's... Is it this one with the lithium here? Am I like staring at it, or am I thinking of the wrong ship? Like, I thought it was the heavy escort. It's the refit. I'm after the phaser point defense console off of the low level Akira. I don't think I have it on this character. Or I won't be able to get it over here on Tribble easily. Yeah. Okay, I can't get that to test that right now without copying the character over and setting up the ship and all that again. I mean, I'll look, but I didn't see it on the list there. Tribble has a lot of stuff just not showing up. E5. Oh, no, that's the tier 3, which is what, sub commander. There, no, that's the wrong one. Here she is. Here she is. Okay, so I do have it. I just didn't scroll far enough to the right. Yeah, it's a great console. Okay, let's head back to Tribble or the Tribble, the test map. General Spinobi, um, Bodwar Juggernaut, the Inquiry, the Lexington. Those are all some very high performers. With the great thing with CSV is like you have a lot of flexibility. But the Inquiry would be like my top tier Fed choice. The Delkina is good. The Vodwar Juggernaut of really is the best option overall, but that ship can be a bit to handle. Okay. So I'm gonna go in and go to the test map again against 5 targets, and we're gonna compare the damage between a few different consoles. I'm gonna also grab the broadside console from the Vengeance, and we're gonna take a look at the phaser point defense system, the broadside emitter arrays, and then the experimental power redirection console off of the Excelsior II. Mirror Sovereign's always possible for the the Terran bundle in February. Legendary Scimitar is good. Yeah, there's lots of options. CSV works on so many different things. Yeah, the Adamant. A lot of people got mad about the Agony nerf, but the Adamant itself is still a Defiant with a battle cloak. Like it's still a really good ship. So, okay, combat log is still active. I'm just gonna go right in between these enemy ships here. So, the Vengeance console's only gonna have like 2 targets to hit. The others are all going to be hitting a wider variety of targets. The phaser point defense console is off of the T3, the T3 heavy escort refit, which is the low tier version of the Akira class. Now let's see which of those won out. The Vengeance console actually did surprisingly well compared to the point defense console, but the console off the Excelsior II beat out the phaser point defense system and the Vengeance console both combined. And the auxiliary phaser beam rays from the Excelsior II console do also have a chance to trigger Entropic Rider, Chemocyte, Symbiotic Ice, Lava. The T5 has the torpedo point defense. It's the T3 that has the phaser turret point defense. Yeah, Paul, that's gonna be coming out later this week, most likely. So the Excelsior II console won in the test that I just did. And overall, I think the Excelsior II console is really fun to use. I'm not saying to go out and get the Excelsior for the console, but it is a fun console to use. But it would also be better if it was just lasting a little bit longer. 20, 25 seconds would be good. 30 seconds would be ideal to me. But definitely 15 seconds just isn't long enough. Just needs at least another 5-10 seconds. Okay. So I already have the winter ship on Tribble. And I'm not going to go through and set it up today because already done quite a bit with the Excelsior here. But I do want to at least show off the console and trait from the ship. I'm not going to go through and thoroughly test them today. That can be done in a future video. But I can at least show the stats on the stuff. Okay. So the starship trait is tear open the gates, and there's the stats on it, like the tooltip. Bridge officer anomalies spawn lost souls that last for 30 seconds and deal physical damage to random nearby foes up to twice per second. So there's the trait. I don't have it leveled up yet. I'll probably do that later on this week and go through and test it over here on Tribble. For the experimental weapon, here are the stats of it at Mark 15, with it also being re-rolled over to crit D damage and damage. So does a bit of fire damage, has the fire damage over time aspect, and it will catch anything within 2 kilometers of your target on fire when it hits. It has an 8-second recharge. Yeah, alternative, the lost souls usually have a good bit of a shield bypass. I also have all of these items already posted over to the builds Discord. So everything that I'm showing off here with this ship I posted earlier this morning on the builds Discord under the Theorycraft section. The console off of the Fekiri Burjai is Portal of the Damned. The passives on it are 28.5 Starship Exotic Particle Generator, and then 28.5 Armor Pen with weapons versus foes affected by a dot. So that's actually pretty solid. And I'm going to have to mess around with this more, but this console looks like it's going to be really, really quite solid for a variety of builds. Especially if you have any dots on your ship. The clicky on it will open up a portal for 30 seconds that spawns lost souls and deals fire damage. And that will debuff foes and do some stuff. So yeah, pictures are up in the builds Discord on the Theorycraft section. New ship Theorycraft. You'll have to scroll up a little bit, but I did post the stats in there before I started the stream. So if you want to go through and look at that stuff, it's posted about 2 hours ago from now. What's the bridge like on the event ship? Probably disappointment. It's probably the same as the other ones, where it's just the generic alien bridge. On Tribble, everything takes drastically longer to load because this server is a test server and does not have as many resources allocated to it as the live server would have. Yep. Default alien bridge that a bunch of the newer like lockbox ships have. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to now head over to holodeck. We're gonna close out of Tribble. I think that's pretty much everything need to see on Tribble. My final thoughts on the Excelsior are going to be, it's a solid ship. But the only part of it that really is going to be relevant to most people is the console, and I just don't think the console lasts long enough. I think it's a fun console to use. Like, I think it's pretty fun, but at the same time, it just doesn't last long enough. I had like Minecraft STO running right there. Render scale 0.0001. Okay, reputation. Or I'm still so used to from back in the day. This is like the boomer part of me here. I'm so used to going to the event store by going to the damn rep window. It's an old habit that just is never gonna go away from me. Where is this crap?
Q is a genius. And so handsome.
Q's friendly customer.
Time to buy stuff. So I gotta buy a bunch of these greens. Ascending price per unit. Jeez. Well, someone's getting smeezy.
Aren't Eppos adorable?
Yeah, Waldo.
Q
That's
is a genius.
not even their QA right now knows if that's intended or not. So that one is hard to say whether or not, that's going to last.
The great Cranberry will grace us with his presence soon.
Ito, Omni.
Q's friend.
Peace is good for business.
that burnt through over half of my remaining Phoenix upgrades. We're gonna just use ultimates on the other two, because that just like that right there just screwed me over. Jeez. Okay, let's grab those two. And that was brutal. Okay. That was easier. Much easier. Chell, I do not know. I don't think I don't recall if I got the Marion. General Spinobi, I really don't know. And the issue with me saying, whether or not it is that we don't know yet if that is intended functionality that this can be slotted alongside other beam arrays. So it could very well end up being that, yes, this is working alongside other stuff, but it's not intended. Yeah, that's what I end up doing, is using the wow, this thing is rolled bad right off the bat.
I have winter items for a bargain. Use friendly customers.
It's a bit of expensive set of upgrades right there. Okay.
Use friendly.
See what the Excelsior II is that quick. 1475. Finally, some gambling. We'll do a little bit of gambling. This is for you. Okay? That's it right there. 30 keys.
Use friendly customers.
Okay, I can't stop at 30 keys. No, that leaves me with exactly 1 billion EC. That's fine. Perfectly fine. I'm going to go back to a good map. Look at that dill melt like butter. If they removed the Omni restrictions, I think that would drastically help the like the beam meta, absolutely. Because part of the issue you have is you're limited to just those three, or just the two Omnis plus the KCB, and Omnis have lower damage, but I think for a lot of people, like if they could have their ships a bit more forward focused, then that damage loss would be worth it to be able to like boost up whatever weapons they're running up front. Okay, I'm gonna go to New Romulus Command. New ROM Command. 30 keys. I could do more, but I really shouldn't. Yeah. It'd make 4/4 ships more viable. And like at this point, like I think for them, coming back off those restrictions a little bit would overall just it'd boost build diversity and just give people, another way to play. I gotta stand on the exchange console, remember? If Nick is still here, he's shaking his head. Sark, how you doing? Yeah, I think 4/4s work. Like 4/4s are perfectly viable. Like they still work. It's just they're never going to perform as well as, the other options. No luck. No luck means double down. Why is it all like single key postings? Why do people do this? Post them as a stack. It's such a pain to go through and like buy these things up at... I pulled a T5 ship. I'm going to grab one ship, though, with my EC here, and that is a Liberated Borg Juggernaut, because it's 440 million EC, and like that's a really good ship for 440 million EC. I wanted to try one out a while back. I ended up selling one, and they're just so damn cheap. Like the Borg Jug, it's like the price of a Lobby ship, and it's a lockbox ship. Come on, game, give a ship. A T6 ship. I can do a few more. No luck on the gambling. It happens. Steven, see you around. Yeah, I believe people have been stacking them since they came out, and they haven't fixed it, so that combo definitely is quite viable. Okay, so let's take a look at the Omni here, which we already know that it's stacking, and it probably shouldn't. So let me swap over to like a beam overload build. Martin, you're gonna avenge? Okay. Let's go to the D7 temporal. I'm gonna go up to space. I see people glitching around the map there. The EC market's difficult. There's not enough people with most of the parts of the market, but a lot of the EC stuff you have to figure out a lot of the market stuff on your own, because if there's something that is easy enough for it to be widespread and explainable to everyone, that part of the market will be absolutely flooded and will no longer be a viable method. That's what's brutal about it, is like you just can't do an EC like generation video because people will just flock to that and it'll be brutal. So currently the cold Omni can stack alongside other Omni beams, even though it's a set Omni, and it's going to benefit from things like fire at will. So it will work as a third Omni, and if you wanted to do a 4-4, you know, you could run 4 Omnis aft basically. However, the issue is, you know, this is potentially a bug. Like, they don't know if it's working or not yet, if this is intended. But in this current state, it is certainly interesting. Let's slot the new winter event ship. So here's the stats on the winter console, I mean. The Breen Cryonic Module has plus 23.6 Starship Drain, 7.5 Aux Power, and it's not a clicky, but instead it will just give you a bit of damage whenever you knock a subsystem offline on a target. Yeah, let me equip the 3-piece Shay and let me get you that info, because that's what I was confused about too. So let me open up the thingy here, because when you run this 3-piece, it should... Like, is it giving you... It says... I thought this was just plus cold damage. Because now it says it's plus beam. Okay, let me deslot the 2 of the pieces here, and let's take a look at some of my beam damage. I am sitting still with anchored on, but let's take these off. Okay, so let's see if the 2-piece is giving a damage boost to my dual beam bank here, my phaser dual beam bank. So there's the tooltip right now. If I slot the Omni beam, that did not do anything to the damage of my beam array. And if I slot the 3-piece, again, so the wording on the set bonus is going to confuse people. It's only actually giving the boost to the cold weapons for the damage boost, but the way it's worded is it doesn't specify that like it did in the blog. But let's see here. So there should be, the proc should be on everything, right? Like 2.5% chance to target, to hold them, or to, if you do cold damage, to hold them. Okay, let's see if how that stacks on the beam here. What's the wording on it here? Is that under B? Yeah. My emerged, yeah, it looks like, so in the blog, I'm pretty sure it like said it was boosting the other stuff. I gotta go back and check. Species, thank you for the sub. I could have sworn that in the initial like Winter Wonderland, it said it was boosting cold damage in general. Yeah, so it increased, the 2-piece was supposed to increase cold damage, and the 3-piece was supposed to increase cold damage. However, the actual set in the game is saying that it's, you know, to beam and torpedo damage, which seems to indicate it is to the Omni beam. So here is the Omni beam with everything on. Yeah, with the entire 3-piece on. So it's 1202 DPS. If I take the torpedo off, and if I take the console off, so it's at 1145. If I put the console back on, 1166, and then the torpedo on. So the damage boost from the 2 and 3-piece is definitely stacking. It's the damage aspect isn't overriding. But now there's supposed to be the other part of the console set here is supposed to be that proc. So when you deal cold damage, is it to targets? Yeah, when you deal cold damage to a target, it has a chance to heal them. And I don't think that's saying anything on the tooltip here. Yeah, it just so Jay, it's not saying that on the tooltip of the beam array at least. It doesn't specify the proc chance for that. You know, is that stacking also? You know, that's what I want to know, and I can't really tell. What would affect cold buff abilities? So like parasitic ice. Hold on. My mouse is just blinking red because it's got to be charged. I love it. Yeah, let's check another cold thing and see if it's getting the boosted all from the set. That's a good idea. Let's slot very cold in space. Do I have that on here at all? Do I've let it go? I know I've got let it go. Okay. Let it go. So let's just verify that that set is only actually boosting the set pieces. Yeah, so the damage did not go down on Let It Go when I took that torpedo off. If I take the console off here, it remains the same. So the set is indeed only boosting the weapons in the set. So that would also mean it's not boosting symbiotic ice. And I can go and check that also. So symbiotic ice. Is that going to display on the tooltip of my beamers? I don't remember. I don't think it does. Okay, so I can't really show that, but yeah, the cold damage boost from this is only boosting the set items, which is a bit disappointing. Which is, yeah, rubbish. Hi Spencer, how do you rate this event ship compared to others in the past? I would say this event ship is probably one of the best event ships they've ever done for like what its end game potential is. Like honestly, this new event ship that we're getting is it's a very capable end game level ship. You know, keep in mind its stats are very close to a lockbox ship from just a few years ago, and you know, nothing has really changed in that time period with regards to how difficult content is. So, like, it's a really good ship. It's more than capable of doing high numbers if you build it right, fly it right, and have a good team. Like, it's just all around like an interesting platform. Yeah, Waldo, it definitely is confusing because their wording between the blog and what we got in game changed. Have I looked at the confused thing yet? No, I have not. I probably won't get around to like testing all the patch notes stuff today. So, let's see here. Change the behavior of powers and abilities that use the confuse effect so that captains cannot target allies with those powers and abilities while under the confuse effects themselves. So it just was like trying to prevent some like trolling in some maps where you might encounter that. I don't know. Yeah, Steve, it very much looks like this is a event ship worth grinding. Absolutely. The Alliance theme is only for the anniversary ships. The winter events have always been Breen or Fekiri. So the next Alliance ship will be out in February. With regards to, I got really sidetracked there. I'm going to equip the 3-piece here. The torpedo does cold damage, and if we compare it to like another torpedo, like let's say the dark matter, that's really popular nowadays, isn't it? It's doing substantially less damage on the tooltip than the dark matter would do, which makes sense. The event gear usually isn't always as good as the rep stuff. Usually, I mean, there's some exceptions to that, of course, but really does not look that amazing. And with regards to the Omni beam, that is doing 801 DPS versus yeah, it's doing a lot less than the other weapons I have on my ship. Let's go into a like in our gala here. I'll go shoot stuff with my beam overload setup, and I'll see how things go. I'm gonna reload my loadout because my traits are screwed up apparently, and they're still screwed up. I think I'm missing super weapon ingenuity. Yep. By the way, just a random tangent here, but with the crossfield refit being added to the Infinity Lockbox today, all of the other contents from that box have been added, and if you have not already tried the Symbiotic Ice trait, that is a really good personal space trait for beam-based builds, and like it performs quite well in all of the builds I've been doing with beam arrays on or dual beam banks. I'm using Symbiotic Ice, and it's adding a fair bit of damage to my parse. So that might be a trait you want to look out for on beam builds. I think it really doesn't get that much attention, but it's actually pretty solid. Okay, so I'm going to reslot that Omni. I'm going to slot the cryonic module, and I'll slot the torpedo, and we can see how good or bad this does. So I'm going to drop my CSV for torpedo spread 2, and I'm going to drop why is ETM on here? What has happened to my loadouts? Calm before the storm should be there. Vanguard's fine. Okay, for this, we're just going to leave it like this. I've got the 3-piece on. The 3-piece clicky is the Breen Cryonic Blackout, which will do some additional cold damage. I'm going to resave this loadout. I'm going to start up my parser. Default. Full time. Going into our gala to test this out. Let's see how bad it is.
You have entered an area controlled. Looks like our fight got them.
Usually on my beam overload builds, I don't run a torp at all.
Keep concentrating fire on individual ships. Separate them and whittle down their numbers.
Terrible.
Excellent work. We'll send
Worst
you
thing is that
down
was slower than the
to
beam array on the Excelsior.
in custody.
Very nice shell, 69 mil.
Thank you for your assistance.
Let's take a look at that parse and see how that did. My piloting in the Argyle is soft and crap, but whatever. So the green array, is boosted by the overload. It works with overload, fire at will, and it didn't do that well. Now I also know that if I was running like the dark matter quantum or the neutronic torpedo, either of those would have beat out what this torpedo did, because this torpedo did 12k DPS, or about 12.7k DPS for me, so just under 2 million damage. The Omni did 1.6 mil damage, and if I look at my other Omnis, like the other Omnis that I have just did a lot better. The issue is that with this cold weapon, it's not boosted by any of your like phaser, disruptor gear. You can use it over a KCB, the kinetic cutting beam, but I honestly, like, I don't know if this beats out the KCB, to be honest with you. Like, this will enable you to do like a 4-4 if it remains as is, where you could run 3 Omnis plus the KCB and then dual beam banks 4. Like, this would enable that, but I don't know if that's even gonna stick around. Yeah, I tweeted them I tweeted at them the other day that they have a very nice opportunity to go in and add tac consoles to the fleet spire for like cold damage, fire damage, radiation, physical. There's lots of things they could add tac consoles in for that. They're pretty niche, but it's not. I don't think it's that much work for them to add in another set of tac consoles. And it enables a lot more build options for people. But overall, I have to say I'm not like too amazed with the Breen stuff so far. The damage numbers from it just really were not that overwhelming. Like they really were I mean they did stuff, but it wasn't that crazy. Like, I feel like it's very much a subpar option to most of the rep options we have out there, and I really am not sure that this beam array actually outperformed what the KCB would do for me. Yeah, and the Disco 2-piece, you got the wide angle dual beam bank as an option also, and my build was already running that, so my normal build on my ship here is like this, and it just, for me, it works a bit better. Like, I could run a torpedo, sure, but I prefer just doing the pure do setup here. Caught up on chat. Okay. Yeah, overall, like the Breen stuff, it's cool. It'll be a decent free set. But whether or not it's worth it is going to depend on how they respond and whether or not this is intended functionality. Like, right now, you can use this as a third Omni. That will be boosted by fire at will and so on, but they haven't confirmed if this is intended or not. So it's really hard to say right now whether or not this is worth it. Green set worth slotting on a support? I don't know. Because you wouldn't want to run the torpedo, because this torpedo would steal the proc, the CF procs. I really don't know, Talor. I'm gonna have to lean towards probably not, to be honest. Check some stuff here, see if there's been any more announcements put out or anything. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Let me check what else is going on here. Beamboat plus rapid emitting armaments plus carrier wave. Yeah, that's a good combo. Like carrier wave and REA off the legendary Dare decks. That's a really great combo. I think way back, the very first set I got was Aegis, and that was way, way back. And then I got I gotta think. I got one of the Omega rep sets back when you had to play the missions and it was a random drop from them. Discreet, no problem. Yeah, the console really is fun off the Excelsior II, but that's the only thing, positive about it, really. Let's see. I don't think there's been any additional clarification from them. I don't think they know yet if that's intended functionality or not for this thing to be slottable. So I don't want to recommend this until we know whether or not it's intended, which could be a few days for them to respond. Yep, 49 seconds ago. There you go. And they screwed the damn tweet up. They screwed the tweet up even because it's not bridge officers, it's duty officers. Amori LaForge, I'm proud. That's wonderful. They screwed up the tweet even. It's not bridge officers, it's duty officers. Man, my FPS just absolutely tanks going between map loads there. That is ridiculous. Yeah. OBS, are you okay? I swap ships and it tanks to 10 FPS. Ridiculous. So, to summarize everything today, the Excelsior II is a worse version of this ship here. The trade off the Excelsior II sucks, to be honest about it. The console on the ship is really fun, but I don't think it lasts long enough, and I'm not sure it's worth 1.5 billion EC to get a console that's just visually immersive like that. Could be interesting, like could even be meta for like some really niche CSV builds for doing like ISA runs, but yeah. The Breen set is interesting, but it's not able to be boosted up very far, and we don't know whether or not it's actually working as intended. The new Fakiri ship. The new Fakiri ship can do quite well. I didn't really test it that much today, but the accessories on it look really, really interesting. Really wish, yeah, I would honestly, I would not mind like a really nice premium tier Chelgret. Like that's honestly a ship that I really enjoy and would love to see a better version of it, like a full spec, like lockbox quality type ship for the Chelgret. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. But I think that pretty much covers everything. I know I didn't really test the new ground weapon, and I guess I can go do that quick. Um, Man, these FPS drops when I change maps are brutal. I need to look into what's causing that.
I have winter items for a bargain.
Let's try the Red Rider out quick. Grab that. Red Riker is fun. Looks cool. I need these things to come to life so I can start shooting them. I can't even shoot it here. How long do I have to wait until I can like shoot the snowman? I thought they used to like on the TFO. Terrible. I've joined the Winter Invasion TFO. Let's see how it goes. I haven't played this in a while. Is there? Is there? So I don't have to do a full TFO? Where's it at? Chaps, do you know where that is? What the hell? Fast and Furious. Is it over here by the gingerbread crap? I don't know. If I don't find it here, then I will just go and queue for the TFO again. Or can I do the event or like the TFO privately? Nah, it requires 5. Okay. I'll queue for the TFO again. I believe, SpaceFX. I believe in you. Yeah, there's a key sale going on right now and a Lobby sale also. I did accept the thingy, but it is not going yet. There it goes. That took quite some time right there.
Welcome to the gingerbread snowball.
Can I please? Terrible. This is just the visual I want. Yeah, this is yeah, it's moving in slow motion because it's stuck up against the invisible wall. Yeah. Why can't I fire it? Hell? Why'd my punch stuff get put there? There it goes. What the hell is that? Dude, I'm not even getting shots off before other people are killing everything. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be that good, actually.
You dare enter my home?
This is terrible. The gingerbread colonist has been frozen.
Dude, this is laggy. Like, this is really laggy, too.
I rule all the lands of ice and snow.
Yeah, I saw that. It gave me glasses when firing. So I'll show... Yeah, it gives me glasses. That's interesting.
Feel the chill of winter's might.
Yeah, it's not a good weapon.
Feel the chill of winter's might.
Yeah.
Hold. I'll be back when the snow falls.
Hooray! You defeated the Snow Overlord.
Okay. The entire game is lagging. Yeah, their server performance is atrocious. Yeah, the Red Riker, I don't think I'd recommend you get. It just doesn't do enough damage. No comment. Terrible, Joe. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything. You know, like I'll do some more videos to follow up regarding some of the specific stuff, but um I think I pretty much went through most of the new stuff added today. I didn't go through the costume stuff. That's not really my thing. But there were only 3 new beanies added if you care about the costume stuff, and it's the ones that they showed in the blog for the Fed, KDF, and Romulan beanies, and they don't really look that good in my opinion. So yeah. That's pretty much it. The event ship is worth grinding out. I didn't cover it too much in this video or in this stream, but definitely worth going through and grinding out the event for. It's a really good ship. It's one of the best event ships we've ever gotten. But is there anything else that people want to ask before I wrap things up here and go get some food? Anything that I missed that I need to go talk about or anything like that? There is a Lobby sale going on right now. Need any Lobby stuff, now's the time. Yeah, I'll do build theory for the event ship, yeah. Not necessarily today. I probably am gonna step away, just chill for a little bit. But definitely I want to get some content done for this stuff.
I have winter items. Bargain.
Nadarian was okay, but the Nadarian's basically the ship for those of you that just want to be able to hit the console and walk away from your computer. The Nadarian I don't really consider to be a very great ship. The ship itself sucked. It was the clicky on it that made it worth using for some people. For this winter event ship, though, it's a lockbox tier ship from a couple years ago, so it's good. Like the builds you can do on it are really good. It's got a very high DPS potential. It's the type of ship where it'll easily get you through any of the content the game has. So
A wise man can hear profit in the wind.
okay, I'm gonna wrap things up then. I don't have the members list fully updated. I do need to go back through to get a few of the gifted memberships added in here. But again, thank you to all viewers and members for the continued support. Going to be some videos coming out later this week regarding all the new stuff. I'm going to go back through, get a proper review done of the Excelsior II, and I'll probably push that out sometime tomorrow. Then I'll probably do a news video later today, just going over everything that they've done. And yeah, and then after that, I've got some of this winter stuff to go take a closer look at. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you everyone for stopping by. Hopefully this was entertaining for you and helped you figure out whether or not some things were worth it. Martin, you're fine, man. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you again for helping me get the ships there. We have, so one last thing I'll mention, there's a giveaway running up on my Discord, which is linked in the description down below, for a tier 6 ship of your choice, and this is courtesy of Martin. So again, thank you, Martin, for giving me them keys. The ship I pulled there is being given away. So thank you all for stopping by, and see you guys next time.